Welcome to the HeLP Network. I'm Stephanie Magdic, and our team includes Jason Knoll and Antonio King of the Backend program and Matt Roden of the Frontend program. As a public helping professional, whether you are a school counselor, licensed counselor, or special education teacher, staying up to date with relevant law and best practices surrounding law and ethics in the field is vital to doing good work. Often, professionals can be siloed within their buildings or amongst others who have similar experience and expertise. The HeLP Network was created to help fill a need in the field, to connect professionals across sites and areas of expertise to ask and find answers to important legal and ethical questions to best support their communities and each other. When visiting the site, a user is prompted to sign in with LinkedIn, where they will then see the landing page with a list of the most recently posted questions that they can then further take a look at to see the question and the responses. They can then upvote or downvote the responses or the questions based on relevancy. They can flag a question or a response if it does not abide by community guidelines. On the landing page, they can further filter questions by either tag or by keyword found in the question title or body.
To ask a question, the user will click the Ask button, which brings them to an Ask a Question form where they need to fill out a question title, and then they can provide more context and add tags for easier searching. Once a user has filled out their question, they can submit it, and then go back to the home page. And you will notice that when looking at the question, there are now options available to edit and update a question or make a response, which, if it's the user's response, can then be edited or deleted. A question can also be deleted.
For the HeLP Network's tech stack, the front-end UI was built using a React and TypeScript application that consumes the HeLP Network backend RESTful API. The API was built using a Python and Django architecture in conjunction with a PostgreSQL database, which stores information about users, questions, and responses. Additionally, the front-end application uses LinkedIn OAuth for user login and as a source for collecting user first and last names, emails, and profile pictures. LinkedIn seemed like an obvious OAuth provider given its expansive user database of helping and law professionals and for providing a convenient means of verifying a user's occupational relevance when associated with a given question or response. Finally, both applications were hosted on GitHub and deployed to Heroku. Prior to deployment, the builds were tested using CircleCI for the backend and Travis CI for the front end.
In the beginning of the process for this project, we spent the first sprint learning about all our new technologies. This proved very beneficial when building out the application. As a team, we use agile methods to keep the project moving forward. This included daily stand-ups and retros over Zoom, where we talked through current sprints and planned out the next steps moving forward, as well as using GitHub projects and issues to stay organized and assign tickets. We utilized Miro as a collaborative project board that allowed every team member to whiteboard and visually conceptualize ideas, something that's especially helpful in a remote environment. Our Miro board consisted of everything from wireframes and design inspirations to JSON contracts to backend tables and relational diagrams. The backend also created in-depth documentation on how to use the API endpoints, which is available in the README of the backend GitHub repository. Throughout this process, we efficiently communicated through a private Slack channel where we pinned all important documents and links. This channel was a constant source of truth for the project and our main means of communication. The biggest hurdle was implementing the LinkedIn authorization process. It took a handful of iterations until we finally found our solution. It turned out to be a little more complicated than we anticipated and took us some time to figure out where the responsibilities would lie in the process between the front and back ends. To get through this, both the front and back end worked very closely with one another throughout the whole process, which was slightly different in how we went about most of the rest of the project. Clear communication and patience were what ultimately got us through this.
Future iterations will have us focus our efforts on building out user profiles. We will let our users manage their username, title, and allow them to connect with other professionals. We would like to further expand on consuming LinkedIn's API, pulling more valuable data such as each user's current professional title. Another focus we have is to develop the site into a progressive web application. This would allow us to create a better mobile experience for our users. As a progressive web app, our site will have faster load times, work offline, and allow us to utilize push notifications. Overall, this will encourage our user base to engage more with our site. Finally, we'd like to add in the ability for relevant businesses to advertise on our platform and build out an in-app subscription for our users.
If you work in a helping profession or know someone who does, remember the HeLP Network the next time you have a question about important legal and ethical matters. The answers are out there. Just ask. Thank you for listening, and thank you to the Turing community for all your support in developing this application.